Here are my 5 best tips on how to start minimalism quickly. I hope you're having an amazing day, and if you're new here, my name is Shannon, and you can hit the subscribe button to join my channel. My first tip is to stop shopping. Yes, I know that is probably shocking to a lot of people. They would think the first tip is to declutter, but honestly, to become more minimal, I feel the easiest way is to stop items from coming into your life, into your home. So I would recommend a no spend day or a whole week or even a month. And I've done this quite a few times in the last few years. And what I do is when I feel I need to buy something, instead of going and buying it out in a store or online, I will just simply write it down and make a note of what I was thinking of buying and just set that aside. And anytime I get that urge to buy something or get something, I just write it down. And a lot of the time, what I found is I go and revisit that note of all the items that I was gonna run out and buy, and I realize I don't even need half of them, or I've changed my mind and I don't want them anymore. So by stopping the shopping, it really does help to become more minimal because you just have less items coming into your home. My second tip, I'm sure you've heard this before, is try to be happy with what you already have. And this is so much easier said than done, and I know this firsthand because a lot of the time we look around our homes or we look in our closets at our clothes and we think, wow, it would be nice to update that certain item, to get a new lamp or a new piece of art or a new shirt. And sometimes we do need those things, which is totally fine. But I know a lot of the time we get bored, or I get bored with things, and next thing you know, I am wanting something new when really I don't need anything new. So sometimes what I'll do is just try to think up a different outfit with all the items I already have, mix and match different things I wouldn't normally put together. In my home, sometimes when I get bored of certain things, I will just move items around my home. So I'll take a plant from my living room, bring it into my bedroom. I just did this the other day. It just gives you a different feel in your home or in your wardrobe without having to go and buy something new. And I think that being grateful for what we have is great, and having one of those grateful journals where you write everything down that you're happy for and grateful for will make you a happier person. But it isn't easy. I think a lot of people make it seem like it's super easy to just be grateful for what you have and don't get anything new. This is something that has taken me a lot of time, because even after I decluttered everything in my home, there were still moments when I went and bought something because I thought, hey, I want to update that room in my home or that area, and then I regretted it later and ended up donating that item, or it did become a new thing in my home. But sometimes that does add to the clutter, and that's what we're trying to get rid of. The third tip on my list is to absorb as much information as you can about minimalism, decluttering, and simple living. There are tons of books about this topic and blog posts and videos on YouTube. You can search all of them very easily on Google and just find endless amounts of information. I have a blog where I write about all these topics, and I will link that down below in case you're interested. But I absorbed as much of this information as possible, and it gave me tons of concrete evidence on why it is so important to live with less. It gives you less stress and more time. So many benefits. I have a video on all the benefits. I will link that down below as well. You knew it was coming. The next tip is to declutter, and I don't just mean your home and your closet. I'm talking about declutter your whole life. I personally like to declutter slowly. The first thing that I started decluttering was to just simplify everything. So look at your schedule, look at all the things you write down to get done in a day. Do you really need to do all of those things in one day? Does your house need to be in perfect order 24 hours a day? See what you can simplify in your life. When it comes to decluttering your actual home, I have an ebook that I can link down below on how we did that room by room with examples, but I would start slowly, especially if you're new to decluttering. I would just go drawer by drawer or closet by closet instead of feeling that pressure of having to declutter your whole life in a weekend or your whole home in one day. Take that pressure off of yourself and just declutter slowly. For instance, if you put on a shirt and it doesn't fit properly, instead of hanging it back up, just put it in the donation pile. And you could do that easily by putting a box by your back door or your front door or in your room. And just anytime you find something ill-fitting or you found you want to take it off and hang it back up, you can just put it in the box instead. And what I love about decluttering slowly is that you can really see what you wear over time or what you use over time and what you don't use. And the nice thing about that is you're not going to feel regret if you declutter something that you all of a sudden need, because you'll know, hey, I didn't use that for so long, or there was a reason why I got rid of that because it didn't fit properly. So that's the nice thing about decluttering slowly. I consider myself a frugal minimalist, which means I do hold on to some items that I know will come in handy in the future. For instance, when I first started decluttering, I ended up emptying a ton of those plastic storage bins. And yes, I got rid of a few of them because I didn't need all of them, but a lot of them I saved, and they did come in handy a few years later when we moved and I wanted to reorganize everything. I did not go out and put new things in there. I was able to reorganize stuff and use them for things that I will be using in the future. For instance, my children's clothing that I passed down from one child to the next child. So think into your future of if you will use the item before you declutter it, if you want to be a frugal minimalist. Let go of perfectionism. There is no perfect way to do minimalism. There is no perfect way to declutter. Everyone should just do it however it works for them. Yes, there are more minimal areas of my home and there are more cluttered areas of my home. For instance, my kids have toys. We're home all the time. They play with them all the time. So we have more of them. And I still consider myself a minimalist because I myself do not have a ton of clothes, do not have a ton of stuff, and I try to keep my life as simple as possible. But there are aspects of my life that do have more stuff in them. For instance, all the kids stuff. It doesn't have to be perfect across the board in your home to still adopt minimalist practices and to simplify your life. By letting go of this idea of everything having to be perfect in your home, perfect looking furniture, your home perfectly clean all the time, everything put away all the time, that is not real life. I think we see all of these pictures on Instagram, even videos on YouTube where everything looks perfect all the time, and it just is not real. I bet you any of those photos that you see, if you were to turn the camera to a different angle, you would see a lot of stuff or things out of order or not put away exactly right. That's why most of us, when we have company over, we spend at least a day or a day and a half getting our house ready. We clean it, we tidy everything, we put things away that are normally out, that we normally use, because we want it to look really nice. And that is what we're seeing on social media a lot of the time. So if we give ourselves a break and we let go of that idea that everything has to be perfect all the time, it will make life a lot easier for yourself, and it will take off that stress that minimalism equals perfection, and it's just not true at all. I feel by using these tips, this is the quickest way to adopt a minimalist lifestyle. And like I said, there is no rush to this. You can take your time, but by implementing these few tricks and tips, I feel that will get you on the road to becoming more minimal and simplifying your life, because that is really what it's all about, at least for me. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you're new here, make sure you hit the subscribe button to join my channel, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye. To see more about our lives and a lot of the home improvements we're making, you can check out my other channel, Simply Shannon, which I have linked below.